were you still alive and a prisoner, the sons whom you have left at home would have to give 3 times as much for you, and so it would be if Agamemnon and other Greeks were to know of your being here. When he heard this, the old man was afraid and roused his servant Hermes, and yoked their horses and mules and drove them quickly through the host, so that no man perceived them. When they came to the ford of Edding Xanthos because of immortal Zeus, Hermes went back to high Olympus, and donned in the robe of saffron, began to break over all the land, Priam and Hideus, then drove on towards the city of lamenting and make moan, and the mules drew the body of Hector, though one neither man nor woman saw them till Cassandra, fair as golden Aphrodite, standing on Pergamus, caught sight of her dear father in his chariot, and his servants at the city's herald with him. Then she saw him that was lying upon the bier, drawn by the mules, and with a loud cry she went about the city, saying, Come hither, Trojans, men and women, and look on Hector. Have you ever rejoiced to see him coming from battle when he was alive? Look now on him, that was the glory of our city and of all our people. After this there was not a man or woman left in the city, so great a sorrow, and had possessed them. Hard by the gates they met Priam, as he was bringing in the body. Hector's wife and his mother were the first to mourn him. They flew towards the wagon, and laid their hands on his head, while the crowd stood weeping round them. They who had stayed before the gates, weeping and lamenting the livelong day, to the going down of the sun, had not Priam spoken to them from the chariot, and said, Make way for the mules to pass you. Afterwards, when I have taken the body home, you shall have your fill of weeping. On this people stood asunder, and made a way for the wagon. When they had borne the body of the house, they laid it upon the bed, and seated minstrels round to it lead the dirge, whereon the women joined in the sad music of their lament. Foremost among them all, Andromache led their wailing, as she clasped at the head of mighty Hector in her embrace. Husband, she cried, you have died young, and leave me in your house a widow. He of whom you are the ill-starred parents is still a mere child, and I fear he may not have reached manhood. Ere he can do so, our city will be raised and overthrown, for you have watched over it, are no more. You were its savior, the guardian of our wives and children. Our women will be carried away captives to ships, and I among them. While you, my child, who will be with me, will put to some unseemly task, working for a cruel master, or maybe some Uchian will hurl you, O miserable death, from our walls, so avenge some brother, son of father, whom Hector slew. Many of them have indeed bitten the death at the hands, for your father's hand in battle was no light one. Therefore, do as the people mourn him. You have left, O Hector, sorrow unutterably to your parents, and my home grief is greatest of all, for you did not stretch forth your arms and embrace me as you lay dying, nor say to me any words that might have lived with me in my tears night and day forevermore. Bitterly did she weep the while, and the woman joined in her lament. Hecuba in her turn took up strains of woe. Hector, she cried, dearest to me of all my children, so long as you were alive the gods loved you well, and even in death they have not been utterly unmindful of you, for when Achilles took any other of my sons, he would sell him beyond the seas, to Samos, Imbrus, or rugged Lemnos. And when he had slain you too with his sword, many a time did he drag you round the sepulchre of his comrade, though he could not give him life. Yet here you lie, all fresh as dew, and comely as one whom Apollo has slain with his painless shafts. Thus did she too speak through her tears with bitter moan, and then Helen, for a third time, took up the strain of lamentation. Hector, said she, dearest of all my brothers-in-law, for I am wife of Paris, who brought me hither to Troy. Would that I had died ere he did so. 20 years are come and gone since I left my home and came from over the sea, but I have never heard one word of insult or unkindness from you. When another would have chided with me, as it might be one of your brothers or sisters of your brother's wives or mother-in-law, or Priam was kind to me as though she were my own father, you would rebuke and check them with words of gentleness and goodwill. Therefore my tears flow both for you and my unhappy self, for there is no one else in Troy who is kind to me, but shrink and shudders as they go by me. She wept as she spoke, and the vast crowd that was gathered round her joined in her lament. Then King of Priam spoke to them, saying, Bring wood, O Trojans, to the city, and fear no cunning ambush of the Argives. Achilles, when he dismissed me from the ships, gave me his word that they should not attack us until the morning of the 12th day. Forthwith they yoked their oxen and mules gathered together before the city. 9 days long did they bring in the great heaps of wood, and on the morning of the 10th day, with many tears, they took brave Hector forth, laid his body upon the summit of the pile, and set the fire thereto. Then when the child of morning, rosy fingered dawn, appeared on the 11th day, the people again assembled round the pyre of mighty Hector. When they were got together, they first quenched the fire with wine whenever it was burning, and then his brothers and comrades was bitter here, gathered his white bones, wrapped them in soft robes of purple, and laid them in a golden urn, which they placed in grave covered over with large stones set close together, and they built a bower hurriedly over it, keeping guard on every side, lest the Uchians should attack them before they had finished. When they had heaped up the fire, they went back again to the city, and being well assembled, they held a high feast in the house of Priam, their king. Thus then did they celebrate the funeral of Hector, tamer of horses.